If you really want it, show me. Go make the ask. That's the message from the moon this Scorpio first quarter happening August 1st, 2025. The moon is bringing back a theme from early November 2024. There was something that you wanted, maybe pretty bad, and now it's time to get skin in the game. Hi, I'm Laura Kusto, and I help you use the lunar cycles and astrology to make sense of the world, to calm things down and tap into the movements of the heavens. Finally understand their energies and have that moment that I like to say of liberation, where you say, oh, that's why I feel that way. And then you're able to move forward with confidence and clarity. Now, the absolute best way to start working with the moon is to start following the moon. It's our closest celestial neighbor. It moves around us every 30 days. As a result, it has the most to say to us. It also governs our emotions. So anytime you are feeling overwhelmed or frustrated, or honestly feeling anything, the moon was nature's gift to us to find our answers. So to help you get started in this foundational way, I created my free guide. It's called the Moon Phase Compass. In the guide, I share the 3 steps, very simple steps, that I use to work with each and every one of the 4 primary moon phases every single month. So you can rinse and repeat this free guide every month. Go ahead and go on over to lauracusto.com/guide and get your free Moon Phase Compass. I will also put a link for that at the top of the show notes. All right, let's talk about this first quarter in Scorpio and how to ask for what you want. Now, the moon is back in the same degree of Scorpio as it was back on November 1st, 2024, and the new moon we had that week. At that time, Mars and Pluto were in a standoff. Now, whenever that happens, we have a bit of this I want what I want and I want it now type of energy. So here's the 3 steps to working through this energy of the first quarter moon in a way that is responsible, aligned, and gets you closer to your goals. First, get your bearings. Go back to that date that I just gave you, November 1st, 2024. It was when we had a new moon at the same point in the sky, about 9 degrees of Scorpio, as this first quarter. Now, November 1st, 2024 was right before the US election. Tensions were high in the States, as well as kind of throughout the whole world, watching what was going to happen here. So it was a very memorable time for a lot of us. But look back to that time, and did you keep a new moon journal? Did you write down intentions? That would be a great place to start. But I also want to encourage you to figure out through, again, looking at your journals, looking at your calendar, what was your general internal energy state? How were you feeling? Were you feeling empowered? Were you feeling positive? Or were you a little more down? Were you a little more negative? Your energy is so important, right? Because the moon rules our emotions. So our emotions matter. And if you weren't feeling so great, there might be something that we want to course correct. I don't bring that up to say, you did a mistake back on the new moon, right? You're living life. Okay. But if you do notice a trend there or a disconnect between what you said you wanted versus what you actually felt, we have an opportunity here to course correct. Now, I talk a lot about how the new moon is about telling the moon what we want. And the first quarter is when we show it. That's why we can do some course corrections. You can tell someone something, but actions speak louder than words, right? Now, if you want more insight on what I mean here between the tell versus the show, go grab that free guide. I break it down super simple. Again, link for that at the top of the show notes, and it's the Moon Phase Compass. So we're trying to pinpoint here in this first step, what did we set in motion back on November 1st? All right. So again, if it was something that was not so good, we can course correct. That brings me to step 2. Check your motivations. All right. When I get to these quarter moon phases, I love to look at Mars and what Mars is doing. Now, Mars, the planet of action here on August 1st, 2025, with this first quarter, when we're going to take action, it's in Virgo. A Virgo is an earth sign that's all about purity. So it's very organized and it's structured. It's very methodical. And so when it comes to our motivations that are behind our actions, we want to check them. And you want to check them from the depth of your soul and what's really driving you, all the way up to superficial appearance things that other people will see. And just clean them up, tidy them up. Plan to address them when you get out there in the world and you make your ask, right? We're asking for what we want here on the first quarter. We're getting out there. We have to interact with the external world. That's part of the first quarter. It's not internal at all. So plan to address anything that may not look fully in integrity. Anticipate what the people you're going to be talking to are going to be thinking and questions that they may have. Make it easy for them to say yes by doing that. All right. And again, if you had some not so great things that you perhaps could have set into motion on the new moon, you can correct them now. You can go out there and you can take action to create a better energetic environment for what you want to have happen in the world. And finally, plan your conversation. Back to this Virgo energy, your presentation of sorts that you're going to have with whoever you're going to be asking for what you want, right? Don't wing it. This is Mars in Virgo energy, and Virgo is a planner. It is a planner. It does not walk in without a plan. So make your plan. Then number 3, step 3 to ask for what you want here on this first quarter moon is to make the ask. And again, you've done all this really great research, but then you're going to let go of the outcome. You really are. So the reason why I talk about this specific first quarter as making an ask is because Mercury is sitting there right with the sun. And at the same time, though, Mercury just turned retrograde, which means that communication could be harder now. So that's why I'm going to say let go of the outcome. Mercury retrograde means we're going back over things, and it's going to turn direct again in a few weeks, and then it's going to come back over this point again. And so you may get an answer to your ask when you make the ask, but don't take it at face value. And honestly, if you don't get an answer and the person needs some time to think about it, that can actually be a really good sign. Because again, Mercury being retrograde, any answers you get right now probably aren't going to stick, especially if they're really big asks. All right. So again, the moon on the first quarter is saying, show me what you want. So it wants you to get out there and it wants you to get skin in the game. That's why it's important to make the ask now. This is the time. The moon is at that same point in the sky. So if you look back to that early November and what you wanted, you got to take some action. You've got to fertilize the seed that you planted. Okay. But with Mercury retrograde, we have to plan for some unforeseeable circumstances here. So just trust you've done your homework and you're revisiting what you need to revisit right now. This is the next step, and put it out there, make the ask, but let go of it and trust. Okay. Flowers take time to bloom. This is the water and the fertilizer that seed that you planted needs right now. Okay, to recap these 3 steps, how to make the ask on this first quarter, August 1st, 2025 in Scorpio. Step 1, get your bearings, look back to that new moon in Scorpio, November 1st, 2024, see what you set in motion. And by the way, it's even better if you know the area of life that Scorpio represents for you, because the moon's energy is going to be most powerful in that area of life. You have 12 of them. Okay, so if you want some help with that, I have a couple of ways to do that. Number 1, I have a new course called Moon Map. And then I also have my monthly membership, very low cost membership called Moon Chat. I'll put a link for both of those at the top of the show notes, but go ahead and check those out. In both of those options, you'll be able to find the specific area of life that the moon is traveling through when it's in every single one of the 12 zodiac signs. And so every time you work with this moon's energy, you'll know the area of life that's being supported most, and you can focus your energies on that. All right. Step 2, after we've gotten our bearings, we're going to clean this up, right? We're going to first walk through how we're going to make our ask, and we're going to sort of play the tape forward in our head and check our motivations, right? Because Mars is in Virgo, and Virgo is not sloppy. All right. So we're going to plan ahead, anticipate needs, and we're going to clean up any not so great energy we might have set into motion and plan our conversation. We are not going to wing it. All right. And then step 3, we're going to make the ask and we're going to let go of the immediate outcome. We're going to recognize Mercury's retrograde, and this one might take a little time. So we're going to trust. Okay. Finally, relax. You're here, you're listening to this, and if you use this insight, you'll be doing your part to work with the moon's energies in helping your goals and dreams along. So you should be proud of that. All right? Trust that your positive intentions and their related actions, they're going to pay off in the full moon, which will be after Mercury has gone direct again. It'll be long after this Mercury retrograde, right? This full moon will come in another 9 months. And I will be here bringing this back up for you. I'll remind you. So I have a whole bunch of ways where I can help you keep track of these. Being here, listening to this first video is a great start, but go grab my guide to build your foundational knowledge. And when you do that, you'll also get added to my newsletter, letting you know when a new episode drops. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. With that, I do have one final question for you. Once you've had a moment to ponder this, what's your ask? I'd love to know. Drop it in the comment section. And also, if you benefited from this and you think someone else would too, please share it with them. With that, have a great week. We'll see you next week. Take care.